Revolutionary greetings to all my fellow countrymen. My name is Linda Masarira, the Labour Economist and African Democrats President. Tomorrow, Zimbabwe turns 40 years, and it is imperative for every Zimbabwean to start rethinking about the kind of Zimbabwe that they want. For a very long time, we've been made to hate our own country. We have been made to hate our own systems. But when we were busy hating our own systems, did we ever take time to sit down and think that we are actually the change that we want? That the solutions that we need for Zimbabwe to function are right inside our minds? We need a new mindset. We need new people. And when I speak of new people, I'm talking about people who are development-oriented, people who are patriotic, people who believe that we are the solutions to the quagmire that Zimbabwe is facing. We cannot keep on going on fighting each other, hating each other, speaking ill of each other, because at the end of the day, Tirivana Vanyamunu, we are all one people. What divided us can actually unite us. We were divided by differing political opinions, differing political ideologies, and that we can use as our strength to get every political ideology, every political idea on one table and say, what is it that works for Zimbabwe? As long as we keep on fighting each other, insulting each other, the skullduggery and mudslinging that we see on social media, the excessive use of propaganda is what has destroyed our social fabric, what has brought so much hate between people, between brother and sister, between families. We've got families that do not even speak to each other anymore because one person supports ZANU-PF, the other person supports MDCA, or the other supports MDCT or LEAD. But at the end of the day, I am saying, if we can tolerate each other, worshipping at different churches, what is it that makes us spite each other because we are supporting different political parties? If every political party in Zimbabwe is determined to bring progress, change and development in our country, why are we failing to work together to ensure that that progress that we promise to our followers becomes a reality? I would have a scenario where all political leaders are differing on ideas and methodology, not on personalities. If us as political leaders can still wine and dine together and talk and laugh, why is it that the followers keep fighting each other? My clarion call as we turn 40 is to every political leader in Zimbabwe to start preaching a message of peace, a message of love, a message of reconciliation. We are not enemies. We just differ on political ideology. If all political party leaders manage to preach the message of peace, love, and unity, we will be able to work together as one people, united in our diversity, to rebuild Zimbabwe. We have had growth points that have never grown since I was a little kid. But now is the time for us to sit down and say, which way forward, Zimbabwe? How do we resuscitate our economy when we are not producing? Zimbabweans need to change their mindsets. Yes, some will cry foul or say we are in the tech era, but how do we open the tech industries when we are not using what we have to create the resources that we need to be able to open up those tech industries? We have got vast arable land in Zimbabwe. We've got plenty of minerals in our country. But what is happening to our resources? We are suffering from massive corruption, looting and plundering of resources. And instead of our political leaders to start being accountable, to make sure that we've got strict regulations on dealing with people who are corrupt and unethical, we find people enjoying the loot together, or other opposition elements going to defend the very same corrupt officials in our courts. So I still go back and say, today is the eve of the independence of Zimbabwe. On the 18th of April 1980, we attained our independence from white racist supremacy, colonialism. And 40 years later, we realize that some of the gains of the liberation struggle have been reversed. We are now suffering from neo-colonialism, capitalism, and it is up to every Zimbabwean to say we have to fight for an economic revolution in our own country. You and me have to work together to ensure that we work for Zimbabwe, we sacrifice for Zimbabwe, because no one is going to come and save us. We have to work for our country, and as we turn 40 years, we need renewed mindsets. Let's learn to love each other, work together in our diversity, and say, this is our country. We are Zimbabwe. We are the independence, and we are the change that we aspire. But we can only change when we have changed our mindsets, our attitudes. That is the only way we will be able to rebuild Zimbabwe united in our diversity.